Приветствую вас, господин президент.
There you go.
President Biden struggling mightily during his virtual summit with Russian President Putin yesterday. That's a face you make when you have zero leverage. Now, why would Putin back down in Ukraine when the commander-in-chief can't even command a Zoom call? Let's just say this wasn't Reykjavik. Putin seems hell-bent on reconstituting the Soviet Empire, and that's why he's put something like 170,000 troops there. Now, who's going to blink first? Let's be honest here. It's obvious that Vladimir Putin is not Mikhail Gorbachev. It's also obvious that Joe Biden is not Ronald Reagan. And this is something that Eric Bolling pointed out here on Newsmax yesterday on his show, The Balance.
I don't really care if Putin takes Ukraine or if China grabs Taiwan. I won't lose a wink of sleep. I'll be more fearful and anxious if a doddering Biden gets us into a hot war with either Russia or China or, God forbid, both. Do you remember what Nixon did? He reached out to China, and for a long, long time, we were able to keep Russia and China apart. No longer, folks. The two evil empires are holding military maneuvers together.
So what are our options here? Let's talk about this now and welcome in Ohio Congressman Jim Jordan, author of the book, Do What You Said, or Do What You Say You Would Do, Fighting for Freedom in the Swamp. Sorry about that, Congressman, but great to have you with us.
No problem.
So what are our options here? Obviously, we have to do something to push back against Vladimir Putin, but I was kind of shook by what Eric said yesterday. Our options are limited, obviously.
Yeah, and I think the big takeaway is when you project weakness from the Oval Office, bad people around the planet start plotting and potentially doing bad things. So that's the situation we're in. I go all the way back to, remember when Secretary of State Blinken met with his Chinese counterpart in Anchorage, and they sat there at the table, and the Chinese counterpart to our Secretary of State just lectured America, just went after us, called us all kinds of names, said all kinds of things, and basically our Secretary of State just took it. Now, that would never happen with Mike Pompeo in a Trump administration because, first of all, the Trump administration projected strength. And second, if they tried it, you represented what Reagan did in Iceland. If they'd have tried that on Secretary of State Pompeo, he'd have got up and flipped the tables over. So that's the difference. And when you look at the weakness projected and then the debacle that was the Afghanistan exit, I think that's what's creating this situation. So I'm not sure exactly what the administration is going to do, but what we should do is what President Trump did. Make sure Ukraine has the weapons and what they need, the resources they need to show Russia that this shouldn't happen.
Yeah, but the question is, what can they do even with those weapons? The sheer amount of force on the border is overwhelming, and that's obviously what Vladimir Putin is going for, that type of posture. I don't know if you've seen the new edition of Newsmax magazine, the December issue here, but it's causing some controversy. Some people are accusing us of glorifying Vladimir Putin, but if anyone took the time to actually read these stories, it's actually called Putin's War on the West. The Russian leader exploits every opportunity to weaken the U.S. and its allies. There's a lot of good investigative stuff here. I got a copy of the magazine, and I'm quoting another part of it. The cyber attacks were the handiwork of Russian military intelligence, the GRU. I mean, this doesn't sound like a puff piece to us, but some people think so, including one of your colleagues in Congress there, Adam Kinzinger, tweeting this: if this is real, then Newsmax should truly just admit it's the new Russia Today propaganda. Maybe your colleague there should actually read the article.
Yeah, I mean, but people are always going to attack conservatives. They're always going to attack Newsmax and other conservative outlets who are actually getting the truth out to the American people. So I tell my colleagues all the time, John, particularly guys in the Freedom Caucus, I say, if the mainstream press and the left isn't saying something bad about you, you're probably not doing anything any good. So I wouldn't worry about, critiques you may be getting from folks. Just keep doing the good work you're doing and giving the truth to the American people. And that's why so many folks that I know in the 4th District of Ohio love watching your program, your network, because you bring the truth. And that's what they want in an era where so much misinformation and disinformation comes from the left, comes from big tech. And we got example after example of what they've done there. So God bless you. Just keep presenting the truth.
I think I'm going to send him a copy of the magazine. I got one right here. I'll drop it off for him. Maybe he can read it and get caught up. But, I don't want to let this stuff just go unanswered here. We got to bring up Brian Williams, too. He talked about it as well. Here he is.
It's not yet clear if today's meeting will ease tensions between Russia and the United States or raise them. But Putin is not without friends in the United States. This is the December issue of Newsmax magazine. Vlad the Great.
You know, Brian Williams, I hear, is on his way out the door at MSNBC. He's taking shots at us. I mean, why is he so sensitive about this? Again, obviously, I don't think a producer read the magazine or anything in it, but there they go.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, no, wear it as a badge of honor. I mean, the idea that the mainstream press is coming after you, guys, that shows you're making a difference. So again, that's how I always, you have to look at it that way, because the left, they're always going to attack us, and they always accuse us of what they're doing.
You just watched Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news channel, now in more than 70 million homes. You can get Newsmax TV on your cable system or check your cable guide. And if your system doesn't carry Newsmax, call them, tell them you want Newsmax TV, because we're real news for real people.